Hello, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. Let's look at a global update for what's going on at the moment. Some people have said, "Why haven't you done this, country? Why don't you do that?" Well, there's simply not a lot of time in these videos. That I'd be going for 2 to 3 hours if I included everyone. I tend to go toward our Western democracies. Someone wanted me to include India. India's cases are rising sharply. Let's have a look at across the world. The US, of course, its trajectory is just so, it's just almost like straight up, which is a little bit of a worry. The UK has gone into almost total lockdown. I think that was a good move. Australia is still, fuzzing around the edges, and it needs to go into total lockdown. Um, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Okay. I'm just going to ask, show me the virus in US. Show me the next week to 2 weeks in the US. Show me the next week to 2 weeks in the US. Show me the virus. Let's just say over the next month in the US, because we might get some trends. Show me the virus in the next month in the US. Yeah, I do feel that there will be a flattening out, but right now it's just hugely heavy work. Let's bring the laptop down. We'll go through each country. They're carrying a big load. Can they get on top of it? They've got huge decisions to be made. You know, I know that the US president wants to open the country back up by Easter. No, those people around him know exactly what sort of choices are in front of them, and they're not easy choices. Of course, balancing the economy with that Queen of Pentacles is the thing. And we've also got the Queen of Swords. I feel that at the end of the day, logic and objectivity is going to win through. These are all swords here. This is all very hard decisions needing to be made. The economy over the next month is going to be is going to struggle, but the stimulus package also will make a difference. It's just the speed. You can expect that trajectory to just to keep going over the next month, and this will cause the government and the state governments to really make these very hard decisions that they need to make. However, the stimulus package, here's the good news: the Six of Swords, healing, moving on, moving out of troubled waters. There will come a point with the economy where it will rally to a certain degree. The Queen of Swords and the Five of Swords, which is an abuse of power. Unfortunately, I see further instability on the part of this president. At the base of the pack, we've just got greed and avarice, particularly around that stimulus package. We've got the Three of Wands, so the potential for, I guess the economy to adjust and opportunism, price gouging, all of those things you're going to see. Trade and commerce is the thing that is going to be quite impacted over the next 4 weeks in the US. Let's have a look. There's going to be obviously a shrinking of the economy. There's going to be this heightened panic in the US, unfortunately. We also have the added worry over the next 4 weeks as the stimulus is rolled out. We've got the added worry that there aren't enough checks and balances on that stimulus package. So let's just ask. Not nice cards, although I feel the economy will rally to a certain extent after that stimulus package is rolled out. You'll find the trajectory is going to increase substantially. Let's see. Now, this Ten of Wands talks about, going through the worst of it. Let's see. Beyond that, is the US able to get a handle on this virus? Show me beyond 4 weeks what's likely to occur. Yep, strength and endurance. Ultimately, things are going to level out. There is going to be loss, but the US is a very strong country. It will survive. There will be new beginnings at some stage. Let's see what else. We've got keep your thoughts positive. We've got the Star of Hope. So over the next 4 weeks, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard going in the US. The trajectory is still going to go like that until leaders recognise they have to take the harder decisions. In the longer term, beyond that, we do have strength and endurance prevailing and the Star of Hope. There's still hope there. In terms of the economy, it will rally in the shorter term once that stimulus package is out there. But there is still, unfortunately, there is still the worry that there is this abuse of power in the midst of a global pandemic, which is really unfortunate because, if you had a different leader, you wouldn't have to worry about that so much. All right, let's have a look at the UK straight into lockdown. There are also penalties going to come into force for people who break that lockdown. Show me the UK. I do feel that they're going to get some better results than what they've had in the next 4 weeks. So show me the UK. Show me the UK in the next 4 weeks. The UK with this virus. How is the UK handling this virus? I did get a pull to the royal family. It came to me in the last 24 hours that the Queen and Prince Philip are so elderly that one or both of them might succumb to this. But I hope I'm wrong. It's just a hunch. Yes, the UK is going to eventually level out. This is a healing and a rebalancing. We do have the Nine of Pentacles, which is the worry, the economy, having enough. We've got the Empress as well. She's coming up a lot for the UK. This is abundance. The biggest, I think, threat I feel with the UK is to their economy. We have the Page of Wands. So they are going to make small gains in the next 4 weeks as a result of the decisions they're taking now. The speed at which they are doing it is going to help them. That's what's going to make a difference. But it is, as I said, the economy, which is the worry here, of course. But we do have this Justice card. And again, I go back to the, we were all, apathetic prior to this. If you go back even 3 months ago, we would not have considered something like this would happen. We do have some kind of spin coming out also that is not the truth. Now, whether that's in relation to how well the UK is managing this virus or whether it's to do with the economy, there's some kind of communication that is a little bit can't be believed. We do have new starts. This is the good thing, the good news now. What has been lost? There's still a cup with this Four of Cups. There's still a cup available. We do have Judgment though, and it's sitting right here with Justice. So, in a way, the apathy, the I guess the division within the country, the big issue here is the UK economy. All right, we do have a coming together, and I like it when I see these cups in the US. It's almost like they're just not going to tolerate any sort of lies, deceit, spin on behalf of their government. So change is occurring as we move through this global situation. changes occurring where people are calling out what they see as spin and deceit, lies, trying to hide things. So that's what could be coming forward for the UK in the next 4 weeks. Let's have a look at India. Now, India's cases, they did quite well earlier on, but now the trajectory is starting to rise. You know, with any of these highly populated areas, it's a worry. And you've got, you know, in some parts of India, very, very poor parts of India. You know, and the need to keep producing, of course, to provide for their country. Huge issues in India trying to lock that country down. Show me India over the next 4 weeks. Show me India over the next 4 weeks. Show me India over the next 4 weeks. Okay, so we've got celebrations here. Now before we get too carried away, it's a coming together, it's a unity, but we also have things moving fairly quickly. So I feel that the speed of the virus will be, the speed at which it replicates will be a significant issue for India. Coming to a total standstill is what is needed. But I have the Nine of Cups. This is the wish card. So if they can do that, it's almost like if they can come to a total standstill, they'll be okay. But again, we have some kind of manipulation, let's just call it like that, some kind of manipulation at the base of the pack, restriction, and we've got what news is coming out of India. So I feel in the past with this moon card that there could have been some kind of covering of the real situation in India. So if they can come to a total shutdown and restrict movement, there's a chance that they can stop this out of control trajectory. The Chariot at the moment, every time it comes forward, shows me speed of infection. All right, let's go to Italy. Let's go to Italy. Please give me some good news, Spirit, regarding Italy. They have just suffered so much and lost so much. Show me Italy, please. Show me Italy over the next 4 weeks. Any good news for Italy? Okay, we've got leadership coming to the fore here. That's the King of Wands. We do have the Sun, which is illumination. Let me just get rid of the email that's come through. Now the Sun card, it's come back again. Let me get rid of it again. The Sun card talks about transparency, illumination. I'm going to pull a clarifier on that Sun card. Hope. Yeah, okay. All right. There's hope for Italy over the next 4 weeks. Yeah, there's a healing coming through and a rebalancing there. 3 major arcanas. Keep hopeful because things are going to. There's a healing coming through over the next 4 weeks. Yeah, absolutely. There's a healing with this 6 of Swords. This 3 of Wands again talks about overseas trade, commerce. That's coming up again, showing me that everywhere trade and commerce is being perhaps affected more than what they're saying. And we've got the 4 of the Hierophant. So have faith. And we've got endings and beginnings. So nice major arcana. I asked for the good news. Let me just show you the major arcana. We have the Sun card. Happiness, joy, returning to a better time. We have the hope. Keep your thoughts positive. And we do have a healing twice coming through here. Let me just show me this. And this is, again, strong leadership. So whatever they can do to lock things down, whatever measures the leaders bring through over the next 4 weeks will actually bring about a healing. Show me this Sun card. Show me this Sun card. Show me the Sun card. You know, there's an air of celebration here. All right, perhaps not. The Sun card is also coming through when I read in the virus, but let's see. Okay, so it's almost like it had to happen. It had to happen. There's a Five of Swords, perhaps things not being handled appropriately to begin with. The Knight of Cups, again, this quick energy, this there was a lack of a foundation here. It just wasn't mature. I think this is the government. There just wasn't a solidarity here or a solid foundation. Now the Sun card is interesting because, as I said, it's illumination. Normally, it's illumination. However, I feel that the Sun card in some way is trying to tell me that this is representing the virus. Perhaps it's the spread of virus outdoors, because it's just coming through, which is why I pulled the clarifier. So normally the Sun card would mean illumination, happiness, transparency, but in this case, it is talking about the opposite. So I don't read reversals, but I feel that these cards are telling me when I see that Sun card, I better pull a clarifier on it. However, so leadership was perhaps not as strong as it should have been at the beginning here, but leadership is getting stronger. They are really enforcing those lockdowns. I read this morning there were going to be drones employed to show, to give information back to the government as to who was obeying the lockdown and who wasn't. These measures are going to pay off for Italy because you saw the Temperance card coming through, and that Six of Wands, which is healing and moving on from the worst. So I think you'll see Italy move on from the worst in the next 4 weeks. Let's have a look at Canada. Canada's numbers have been fairly stable, although this morning when I looked, there has been a bit of a spike. Show me Canada. How's Canada going in all of this? Show me Canada. Show me Canada. Show me Canada. How's it going to be travelling or handling this virus over the next 4 weeks? Show me Canada. Next 4 weeks for the virus. All right, so we've got every time I pull on Canada, it shows me that something is hidden from our view. There's a shadow here of some sort. It is around trade and commerce. All right, let's keep going. Loans and debts. Okay, this is financial. Okay, I keep getting a pull to finances, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. This is also giving and receiving help. I did get an email the other day from a viewer who said that there was something that the Canadian government tried to do around taxes. I don't know that much about that, but that seems to be showing up here. We do have new starts though, which is good to see. Yeah, it is the economy reviewing what they're doing in relation to their, I think it's their trade agreements with overseas countries. It could be that they, which is I guess the possibility with all these, with all countries, is they close down their borders and they start looking after their own. But I have the Wheel of Fortune and the community card, so I feel again at the province level things are going quite well. I feel that Canadians are going to start, in a way, sourcing more locally. It's almost that buy local kind of philosophy. We do have the Sun card, though. We know now the Sun card talks about the spread of the virus when people are outdoors. We do have the Tower card, so you're seeing the spike right now. We do have the Ace of Wands, so every time, and unity, every time that spike occurs, there is a strategy coming together to try and bring forward measures. But there is something there around trade. I feel that there's going to be almost like wanting to source things more within the country. Um, but right now, I'm seeing their numbers spike. Perhaps over the next 4 weeks, we're going to see that trajectory handled a little bit better. There will be additional measures to handle that. Let's have a look. Now we're at 20 minutes. I want to have a look at Australia, then I want to have a look at the Middle East and Europe. So a quick look at Australia right now. How's it going with this virus? Of course, it is now fighting its trajectory and moving into total lockdown and enforcing that lockdown. So show me Australia. How is it going with this virus over the next 4 weeks? Show me Australia. Next 4 weeks. Yeah. Okay, so restriction, moving into that very, very restrictive mode now. There is a crossroads. There are now decisions for Australians to make. Are they going to get Fed income about this, or are they not? It is all down to leadership. You've got a stronger leadership coming forward now, because our trajectory is actually going straight up as a result of poor decisions. We allowed a whole cruise ship to disembark last week with, I think there's 147 confirmed cases, and they were just left to walk around public transport, flying planes. All of our states are locked down now. This is showing we're starting to take this very, very seriously now. It will pay dividends because we've got the same card as Canada. However, we're going to struggle. This is hard work. We've just got our own stimulus package, which which actually will assist, and we do start to get a handle on this in the next 4 weeks. However, I'm just seeing some abuse of power here. The hard decisions weren't taken in a timely way, and as a result, we've got this 10 of Swords. So we're going to struggle with our trajectory, but once we come to the realisation we've got a lockdown, then of course we're going to start to turn things around. Show me the EU. Show me the EU. European Union. Of course, they've got very high numbers in Spain, France, Germany, Belgium even. The Scandinavian countries are doing a little bit better, perhaps not as highly populated. Show me the EU. How's the EU doing? Show me the EU over the next 4 weeks. Yeah, a sense of community. So that tells me people are understanding what is needed. They may start to get a handle on things now as a result of, knowing the truth. So every time that counter comes out, every time they see their cases rise, they understand the need for review, which is the Seven of Pentacles. If something's not working, go back to the drawing board and do it again. They're understanding the need for isolation. Okay, will that turn things around? Again, people working from home, staying close, not travelling, all of these things are helping. They've lost so much. The numbers are so high there, and of course, but there's still 1 cup left with that 4 of Cups. We've got the High Priestess. There could be, I guess, the impact of this on the EU economy might be being kept hidden. There are heavy choices for the EU to make, and it is, again, when I see this 2 of Swords, it's understanding that there's no mucking about with the lockdown. Look what we've got, the Tower card. No further confirmation. The Sun card is representing this virus and the spread of the virus. There needed to be a coming together, and there possibly could have been more assistance throughout the EU operating as a bloc in terms of their economy. and that they had to face a harsh truth. And look, it has impacted. It has impacted on the average person as they, need to work. Job losses, I feel, are going to be the next thing we'll hear about in the EU. So they're grappling with the worst of the virus at the moment. Now, some people have wanted to have a look at China. They've said, are the numbers coming out of China real? The World Health Organization has been there oversighting on the ground from the outbreak of this virus. However, China did kick Western media out of the country. The Washington Post, I should say, US media. Let's have a look. I felt that was more in response to the US president coining the phrase the Chinese virus than anything else. Let's have a look at China. There have been reports that they, over January and February went and bought up in bulk resources, masks, any medical equipment that they could get. They went and stockpiled that and shipped it over in all of the countries, Western democracies. So China, show me China. Of course, now's not the time for recriminations, but I want to tackle one question. Are the figures coming out of China true? Are the figures coming out of China on this virus true? Figures coming out of China on this virus true? Strength and endurance, yes. What they did, yes. Again, keep your thoughts positive. Don't descend into racism. We also do have an insecurity. This could even be holding back information, but we do have the government. Okay, so the government, the Hierophant, this is systems. What I feel is that China's doing reasonably well. It is hopeful that they will get a handle on this virus. However, the government is being very selective about the information that it brings forward. Why? For obvious reasons. We've got the world card here. This was the epicenter of the spread of the virus. This is around their economy. They're going to be managing information coming out. This is in order to protect their economy. Yes, they could be holding, not so much manipulating statistics, but not telling us the full story, because they want this new start. They want people, this is again for their economy. They want to keep the faith in their economy. We've got the Lovers card, which of course is Trump. We do have the Two of Wands coming to the fork in the road, a plan, a decision that needs to be taken. I feel this Six of Swords shows me they are making progress, but it could also be with this Death card and this Four of Pentacles that they may slip back, that the gains that they made, they may slip back, and do it tough for a while to come. But I do feel that they are handling information in a certain way in order to somehow cushion their economy. All right, so one last question. I just want to quickly go to the Middle East. I read on Russia the other day. Again, their numbers are starting to increase a little, but nothing like what we're seeing in other parts of the world. The Middle East, I feel, when you go to those countries that don't have, don't have masks, don't have resources, don't have a health system that can cope. Life is fairly expendable in these countries. But show me the Middle East. Show me this virus in the Middle East over the next 4 weeks. Yeah. The problem is making these choices and making the decisions here. Yeah, I feel that the numbers are going to rise there with that Eight of Wands, but there's also this battling, this faction fighting. It would not be a good place to be at the moment. But we have the Knight of Wands, so there is going to be plans put in place, but they're not quite there yet. Let's keep going. We've got revelations, so we might hear more about what this virus is doing in the Middle East. There could be a need for overseas aid, which of course is going to be very difficult with that King of Cups there, as each country needs to fight for its own resources. And underneath this Five of Wands, we've got the Emperor card, the Empress card, which is abundance. So there's going to be a fight for resources in the Middle East. That's what you're going to see. But I feel that there, with this Page of Cups, I feel that in some way the world's going to be asked to help. I don't know how that's going to work. We've got the community pockets. It's more a community by community, a region by region proposition. And it is around what they have or what they haven't got financially. It needs a lot of work here. They've lost, but there is this helping hand there. And you could have aid organisations trying to mobilise to help. So again, this whole virus, I come back to needing to understand that we, rather than a hoarding mentality, what will help one will help the next, the next, the next, the next. So how are we going to respond? That's the question. Are we going to come together with unity, or are we going to put those silos up and just look after our own? I feel Canada is probably putting its barriers up as well, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but let's see if the world will respond and help those countries that are going to be hardest hit. It's just a stretch for us at the moment. In time, we may. In time, but not now. We've got the World card, endings and beginnings. High levels of anxiety about your own patch, basically, is going to prevent us, and the speed at which this is going. There will be not a lot of help for countries in the Middle East and other countries that are being decimated by this in the short term, just simply because of the speed of this virus. We do have the Page of Swords, so there's going to be some truth, some information coming out about the loss. The Five of Cups. Middle East is a particular area, but people are still anxious for their own and in their own backyard. And we've got governments here, governments having to respond in some way, organisations, world organisations having to respond. We're going to hear about how bad it is in the Middle East over the next 4 weeks, unfortunately. We haven't had a lot of information coming out, but we will. And there will be quite a high scale of loss with this Eight of Cups and this Three of Swords. We will have to decide how we're going to help areas that are really struggling with this Queen of Wands. So not a good outlook there in the Middle East. It's not just in the Middle East; it's in areas of the world that are really struggling into third world countries. All right, that's a bit of an overview in the next 4 weeks. Some good news in there, some not so good news. With Italy, there appears to be, as they get locked down even more, they are able, I feel, to turn a corner in some way in the next 4 weeks. All right, thank you for tuning in.